Welcome to Day Zero Update for August 25th, 2024. I'm your host, Chris Logi.
I'm Brandon Perkins.
And Daniel Victoria.
And yeah, we've got a big week this week as Gamescom has been happening.
Yep.
So a bunch of stuff has been announced.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it getting dates here, as well as some games just getting delayed because why not?
Mm-hmm.
Including one that I didn't know we had any sort of time frame for a date, so it seems rubbing it in the wounds. But we got a bunch here to talk about. But before we do that, we'll talk about what we've been playing. I'll kick it off here. I have been playing the internet's least favorite game of the week, Concord, the game that has brought together everybody that hates live service games as well as everybody that hates woke games together into one potent force to shit on Concord. Sony's newest game from Firewalk Studios, which is primarily formed of various people that worked at Bungie on the Destiny games. So it's kind of a hero shooter, but it's also kind of a version, like a spin-off of the kind of Crucible stuff from Destiny. So yeah, you have to right now pay $40 for the game. There's no battle passes, paid battle passes, or any of that stuff. No microtransactions, nothing like that. So all the stuff that's in it, you will be able to earn it at some point, and that is pretty cool to see. Right now, they're in season 0, so the seasonal stuff is pretty lightweight from what they've shown so far. It literally just gives you every week 2 goals to accomplish. You get a bunch of XP out of that to upgrade your account level. And usually that stuff is enough to either, if you're on a higher XP level, most of a level, if not to get you a full level for that stuff. There's weekly challenges that are similar, where it gives you 5 goals to do throughout the week, and if you get them all, you get an XP bonus. And similar for daily stuff. And the dailies just respawn a bunch of extra goals to do for a small XP boost. And then there is character-specific levels that will unlock cosmetics for them, which the big issue I have is that it does not let you see like the whole progression of those unlocks. So you just see like what's next, and I feel like, just let me see all of them when they're going to be showing up. Because in the character customization stuff, it shows you all of them. It just says like these unlock through progression. It's like, all right, I guess I'll get these all eventually. But and then there's just a tab in the challenges section of like, here's your level, your account level, and there's a lore level because there's a bunch of story written in this. In the like compendium they have, that is essentially a big galaxy map that you hover your cursor over to collect the XP, and you can read it. There's a bunch of interesting stuff in there. Like, there's one section where it's just called "Oops All Mines," that the guild created this like self-replicating mine that the off switch did not work on it when they were testing it out, so just spawned tons of mines in this section of the galaxy, and all that. So I wonder if we're going to get a map over there. There's nothing there just yet, but as you level up each of the characters, you get some lore on them, their backstory and all that. So you learn more about them, and there's lore tied to the different maps because they're all on different planets, and you learn more about the planets and all that stuff. There's one of the planets from that trailer where the big tower is on. That was essentially this organization pulled this moon from across the galaxy through multiple systems, and then just accidentally crashed into this planet. And so they built a giant tower in that crater to take control of that area.
Mm.
It's pretty well written for what it is. It's a lot, especially early on. But I don't think you get anything out of that XP. It's just keeping track of how much you've unlocked for that stuff. But yeah, that's kind of the framework there for how you're unlocking stuff for this game, since you're paying for it up front. The modes itself, they have pretty basic practice range for testing out the character's abilities and such. There's a tutorial, which I did, and then while going through the third character, I think it's just 3 characters they show you. I died, and as it was like respawning me, it just went to a black screen and stayed there, so I didn't finish the tutorial. But then there's like trial mode, which has a bunch of the characters that have interesting movement abilities and such. They built like obstacle courses and such for them to kind of practice those and just have something extra there that you can do. But yeah, there's 6 modes in it right now. They're broken up into 3 playlists. There's Brawl, which is sort of your very baseline shooter modes. One is a team deathmatch, and the other one is essentially kill confirmed from Call of Duty and various other shooters. Team deathmatch is self-explanatory. You get to 30 kills. Kill confirmed. Everybody that gets killed drops a card, and if your team picks up your card, you deny the other team from getting it, and then you're trying to grab the other ones and see who gets 230 first. So those work out really well if you have a team that sticks together and kind of finds a good combo of 5 people that gel together pretty well. Otherwise, if people are just fucking around and running around like it's a regular deathmatch mode, then your team's going to get trounced. That's what I've found so far. If you find a group of people that are willing to kind of work together and hang back, you kind of do pretty well in most of these modes. But yeah, the second section or second playlist is for your sort of objective-based modes, essentially. So you get one that is just, here's an A, B, and C area. You're trying to capture at least 2 of the 3, and you start gaining points, and you're trying to get to 125 points. And then there's another variant that has random ones spawning around the map. And so you're just fighting over one at a time before it changes locations. So that kind of gives a little more variety to it. So I found that the spawning in on matches, respawning, sometimes spawns you far away from the map, from the location. So sometimes you're just spending a good bit of time just running, especially if you pick some of the bigger characters that are slower by design. So I've had times where I was playing as them and was like, oh, I'm not going to get into any action before this finishes up, kind of thing. But and then the last one is rivalry. You have to have an account level of 6, or you did. I think they just updated it today to lower that. I don't know what to. The thing for that just says that they lowered it, the patch notes. But that is your round-based mode, kind of like Counter-Strike. No respawns, so you're very much having to be on your shit. I think I've gotten into only one of the modes here, but because it requires a higher level, it's the less populated mode of the ones there. And the one I played is called, I forget what it's called, but essentially you are, both teams are kind of converging in the middle of the map to capture a specific item and drop it off in one of the other locations to defend it for a certain amount of time. Those are pretty quick because you can either go get the item and plant it in one of the capture zones, or kill everybody on the other team. So they generally encourage you to swap players that you're controlling between rounds. That's kind of the big mechanic that I don't know if the game is doing a great job of explaining to people, is that when you're playing as certain characters, you get a crew bonus, which gives you some sort of statistical bonus. Usually like faster reload times, improved healing, um, longer shooting distance. There's like 3 others as well. So certain characters have certain bonuses. So you're kind of trying to rotate through. You don't necessarily have to do, more than 2 or 3, but you definitely kind of want to not stay as one character the whole time. Unless you're doing really well with it, then keep rolling. You obviously don't need those bonuses, but those all apply to the characters you use in the future. And so you can get some of the characters that maybe are slower. Some of them have speed bonuses by using the faster characters, and so you can get the slower characters moving faster and having better reload times and all that kind of stuff. Kind of just encourages you to try out all the characters pretty well. And yeah, once you get to count level 6, you open up the crew builder, which is essentially like a deck builder thing, where you assemble a crew of 12 of the characters you're getting, because you at level 6 you unlock your first variant, which is another version of one of the main characters, and they have usually some bonus attribute to them that is different than the default version, the 1 variant. So you get a 2 variant that has some bonus. The first one you get, I think, is for Lennox, which is the lizard-looking dude. He has pistols that he shoots. Not every character has an alternate weapon. Some of them just have one, but a few have alternate weapons that you can swap between to get different things done. And Lennox is his second variant, adds more ammo to your magazine, so you can kind of shoot with that variant a little bit longer. Otherwise, I think his first variant, I want to say if you dodge, you reload your weapons while you're dodging. So that can be useful. So it's not like that's a markedly better version. It's just maybe for the type of player you are. But yeah, people say this is a hero shooter, and I don't know that it is fully that, as far as like Overwatch and Valorant and all these others, because there's no ultimate in your arsenal. You have 2 special abilities that are just more tools for you to use. So like Linux, he has one that heals himself a bit, and the other one throws an exploding knife. And it's like none of those are ultimate level weapons, because I've definitely seen people talking about like Overwatch, where it's like, well, you know how the end is likely to go based on who has more ults available. And here that kind of gets rid of that, where it's just pure who's got the teamwork going and the skill going and all that. Which I think kind of gives it a nice flavor to it, and kind of gets it off of the it's just another hero shooter kind of vibe to it. I think makes it a pretty fun multiplayer shooter game. And so, yeah, I would say for my time playing it, I've played maybe about 40 some matches. It's a very good game. It's a very fun game. The Steam player count isn't great, but it's cross play, so it seems like there's been plenty of people on PlayStation playing it. So much so I don't take much more than 30 seconds to get into matches most of the time, unless I try to do rivalry, where it's either I get in within 30 seconds or it goes to like 3 minutes and I just cancel it. I feel like they can maybe better communicate to you, like, oh, we've got X amount of players, queued up here for this match, kind of thing, while you're matchmaking, so you know that like something's going to happen, or it might just be launch issues of just, hey, we need to tune where this is, the level that they're letting people in at, because it's obviously being a higher level, people aren't going to play it right away. Which you maybe don't want to do for those, round-based modes. Those are maybe for more experienced people, but, they also give more XP for that stuff, and I believe they also increase the XP rewards. So, but I think there's a lot of onboarding they can do a bit better because I think the crew bonus stuff isn't communicated all that well. I think when I was starting in that, I thought it was a bonus that everybody was getting, but it's just your character. You're basically benefiting yourself by kind of swapping around two different characters. But yeah, there's stuff like that. I feel like they could communicate better, sort of how different things work in the game, because there's definitely modes and such that I think people are trying to figure out, and you're only doing all right at it. But yeah, still could use some work. It's a little rough around the edges, but I think what's there is very well done, and hope to see the game stick around for a while. But yeah, the internet very much is dogpiling on it for a variety of reasons, some of which are legit, and others are just people being angry about Sony doing more live service stuff, complaining that this game is keeping others from happening and whatever. And it's like, I don't think that's happening. And then there's the people mad that there are, a variety of characters in this. People of various races and ethnicities and genders, and some that are gender fluid and non-binary and all that. It's like, you don't necessarily need that, but also, as we've seen with like Overwatch characters, that stuff is appreciated by people. And so yeah, that's been my impressions on Concord. There's a lot of cool maps. The modes are all pretty cool. Occasionally get some shitty people, and also just people that are really fucking good at some of these characters that really pisses me off. Especially some of the sniper lady Vale. She's I suck at snipers, and that was, I tried to get into her, and it's like, okay, she's cool, but also I don't have the skill to pull off these kind of shots that they allow for that. Because her special abilities is that she has a jump, an extra jump. A lot of characters have double jumps or stuff like that. A couple have like glides or hover abilities. She has the ability to double jump and then do a big jump, which I think is also maybe one just to jump over cover kind of stuff. That's kind of neat, but also there's not many great places for snipers to kind of get some secrecy a little bit. You can, with those mobility stuff, you can get onto a lot of places, but then you just slide off because you're not supposed to be up there. It's like, oh, that's a shame. There are definitely areas where it's like, I kind of wish she could maybe go prone or something. But yeah. But yeah, that's Concord. Enjoying it a lot. Definitely gonna keep playing it some more. I'm trying to unlock a variant for Teo, who's kind of the another one of the like newbie friendly characters. He just has like an assault rifle and a pistol that you can swap between. You can throw a cluster grenade and a smoke grenade, and his special abilities that you can go down sights on his pistol and his assault rifle and see through the smoke. So you can kind of do some fun stuff with that. And yeah, a lot of the characters are fun. They have cool abilities that make them all very different and interesting, and ones that I go to often at different points. So, but yeah, the crew builder kind of just lets you build your own loadout of heroes to swap between in a match. And so you can create different ones for different reasons, or just here's the characters I like and all that. I think it has a max of 3 of one type of character on it at once. So I think for different variants that'll show up. But yeah, that game's cool. Definitely enjoying it so far, and so I am looking forward to playing some more of that. So there's that, and yeah, the other one I've been playing some of is Atlas Fallen, Reign of Sands. They've kind of changed the name a bit for the new big update that just came out. It's on Game Pass. It seems like a sci-fi action RPG kind of game, and it's not an RPG at all. You don't get experience for killing enemies. You do get a currency often that is used to upgrade armor and some other stuff about your character, but you're not like incentivized to grind or anything like that, as far as I can tell. Um, but yeah, I believe this update adds some new enemies for like late game stuff, as well as they've revamped the beginning of the game and added like voice acting, especially with the likes of Ben Starr being part of the cast for that, which is kind of wild. Ben Starr is the main character of Final Fantasy 16, in case you didn't know. And yeah, so it's a very kind of sci-fi bullshit story for what it is. Your character is part of the no names, the nameless, essentially the peons of the world who don't have any power and are just treated as slaves and whatnot. And you happen to find this gauntlet that has special powers, and that makes you a special person. And the people that have actual names are very mad at you because you're threatening their power by gelling with this gauntlet. And you kind of escape the camp and the guy that's trying to kill you, and are trying to figure out what's going on with this gauntlet, because the gauntlet has a soul in it that is talking to you and telling you more about what's going on. And you're kind of going around trying to upgrade the gauntlets and make it more powerful, I guess, to accomplish whatever goal you're eventually going to accomplish. And doing all that, I played a few hours, so I haven't gotten that far into it. Basically got to my first big town, so I can do some merchant stuff and some side quests and all that. Seems pretty decent so far, but yeah, it's kind of one of those games where it's like, this isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's still pretty cool. I'll probably check out some more of it, but it's also kind of a very weird game. So, but yeah, that's been pretty much all I've been playing. So, what have you been doing, Brandon?
Well, as for me, I am still playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. But a lot of my time has been taken up by Crosscode. But I am still playing Infinite Wealth, and I've been kind of playing around with the various classes that game gives you. A lot of them are brand new compared to the previous game, mostly due to the fact that you're based in Honolulu right now, so most of your classes that you get in this game are in some way related to that. Basically, you end up learning and changing classes by going to this tourist agency that's located in the city, and you can sign up for various activities, and that's how you learn to do things like hula dancing or fire twirling or surfing. And then there's some more off the beaten path type stuff like samurai or desperado, stuff like that. Some of them are a little unpredictable because they don't really communicate too much what it is they're going to be teaching you. But that's also kind of part of the fun. And I've also totally sunk very deeply into the whole Sugemon thing, where you're basically training a bunch of enemies you come in contact with and then battling it out with other people in some weird ass parody of Pokemon. But other than that, I have been mostly playing Crosscode, and Crosscode it still continues to impress me. I am still shocked that I have only until now started playing to this game, considering how so good it really is. But the thing about this game that continues to impress me is the puzzles. The puzzles in this game are legitimate mind breakers. A lot of them are sort of based around the sort of the same concept of where you're using your projectile attacks. And unlike in a lot of these types of games where, you have a projectile attack, the projectile attacks are can ricochet. So there's a lot of you having to sort of line up and ricochet your shot so that you can, activate a switch or whatever. And a lot of the puzzles are based around that, but they always manage to put in some new element that makes it increasingly more and more complex. Like, for example, one of the main things you're doing in this game is that you're getting new elemental powers when you're going into the dungeons. And like one of the more recent ones I had was where the puzzle operated using these furnaces that have these pipes that you have to stoke the coals on them so it'll activate the mechanism. And the way you do that is that all of these rooms, they'll typically have like a thing that generates like a water bubble that you can use. And you have to freeze the water bubble, and then you have to aim it at the sort of pit near the furnace where the coals are, so it'll stoke up the coals and start the mechanism. A lot of times because the ice piece that you end up making, it kind of acts like a hockey puck, so you have to aim it in a specific way so that it'll, and a lot of times it has to be done through like a ricochet type situation. It's not easy. And I have had to consult a walkthrough a couple times because some of these puzzles can legitimately be super difficult. But yeah, it's an amazing game. And yeah, that's what I've been playing. So, Danner, what about you?
Yeah, the main game that I've been playing is Madden NFL 25. Came out last week. And if you've been playing college football, which both Chris and I have, the main complaint from players is that it's a little slower, which I don't even know if that really makes sense. But yeah, from what I've played, and like in previous years and on years where they both came out, college football was always thought of to be the more arcadey game. I don't know if I agree with that, but they definitely have their similarities. And you can tell a lot of college football rubbed off on Madden this year. Like I believe in college football you can change your stems, which is basically the point at which your receivers can change their route when using a hot route. And that's definitely been an interesting change in Madden because, the competitive players pretty much just choose whatever formation they want and then use whatever routes from there to go ahead and attack you. And it's really fun just, trying to play that little chess match. But yeah, as far as like pretty cool changes, the one thing that I'm definitely happy about is the fact that they have multiple commentary teams, like over the past almost, I want to say more than 4 years now, they've had Charles Davis and Brandon Gaudin, who are both there, and they're solid. But when you listen to them for so many years and you play so many games of Madden, you get tired of it. They have 3 commentary teams now. So Charles Davis and Brandon Gaudin are there. You also have Brock Hayward and I forget the female announcer, but she also sounds very similar to Susie Colbert, but she's definitely not her. And then I'll have to look for it. And then the other one, which is the one that I like the most, is Mike Tirico and what's his name again? The tight end from Carolina before. But anyway, Greg Olson. And yeah, like Tirico has always been like my favorite play-by-play announcer for a few years now. Him and Al Michaels. And Al Michaels used to do Madden like over a decade ago, but obviously they're not going to bring him back. But yeah, it's been nice, except I've definitely seen some errors here and there. Obviously, like my favorite team's the Packers, so I play as them mostly, and it's been weird. Like for example, I'd play a game between the Niners and the Packers, and all of a sudden it's like we're playing in Lambeau Field, but then all of a sudden the announcers are like, "All right, we are live here from Santa Clara," and I'm like, "No, we're not. It's snowing. It doesn't snow in Santa Clara. I live here." And then another common mistake is Jordan Love, the quarterback for the Packers. His backup is Michael Pratt, and he is announced as Spencer Rattler. So I'm like, okay, I've never seen that kind of bug in commentary before. So I don't know if they'll bother addressing it because it doesn't really affect gameplay, but it's definitely distracting. Anyway, the modes I've been playing the most are just a typical online head-to-head, and then of course the franchise mode. I have both an online franchise and an offline franchise. With the offline franchise, I've been playing with my brother. My brother is a Titans fan, so we've been sharing our season that way. And I haven't really seen many of the changes they've made to franchise yet. That seems to be the focus, but I haven't really seen anything that's been different. But I think it's because most of the changes take place during the off season, which we aren't there for yet. one thing that's particularly disappointing is that it has the exact same trophy list from last year. And after getting the platinum in college football, I thought they'd try to iterate it or make it a little bit more streamlined. But no, it's the same thing. The most annoying ones are getting getting a 90 overall with almost every position in superstar mode, which takes a lot of time. And yeah, probably won't be doing that. But yeah, as far as the gameplay goes, it's definitely it seems to be a whole lot more crisp. Again, I'm not seeing a lot of the whole slowness in comparison to college football. But I also am the kind of person who changes the sliders up to the way I want to play. And the one cool change here is that you actually have the option to use the kicking mode from college football or older versions of Madden. So that way you can go ahead and just pick whatever your preference is. If you're somebody who wants to play the way you've always played, or whether you want to use the actual gameplay nuances. Those are pretty cool. But yeah, once I finish one season in the franchise, I'll have more to report. But so far, I've been it's been a solid game so far. The main thing that's been annoying me, aside from the commentary stuff and the trophy list, is I've been signed out of the EA servers pretty randomly, and it's not at the fault of my internet. And when you're playing online, it'll kick you out, and you get a loss. So there was one time where I was winning 21-7, but because I was kicked out, I still got the loss, which is annoying. I would rather just have a no result out of that, but it is what it is. I'm not too competitive, but this is the one game where I consistently play online throughout the year, and I would hope it would perform better in that regard. But again, as far as the gameplay goes, especially when they've added the custom stems from college football, I'm pretty satisfied with the way it plays. Aside from that, I've also played the demo for Emio the Smiling Man, Amicom Detective Club. And yeah, with this demo, they've released the prologue and the first chapter. I think in a few days, they're going to release the second chapter. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying that. It gives you a little bit of insight on the story. But yeah, if you haven't played any of the previous Famicom Detective Club games, it's very much in the same vein as a Phoenix Wright game. It's a mystery thing. It's a point and click visual novel, except that you do have to make sure that you're picking the right option at the right time. One thing that'll be a little chaotic, especially if you're someone that's used to the Phoenix Wright series, is that whenever you choose an option, the game doesn't really tell you if it's an option that you've already chosen, and sometimes you do have to repeat a few things. But you can go ahead and use the context clues or do things over and over again to make sure that you're choosing the right thing. It won't punish you in any way, but it does get a little annoying to when you can't figure out what to say, and all of a sudden it's because you're supposed to choose a different dialogue option in the right order and things like that. But yeah, so far I'm really liking what I'm playing. It's been a while since I've played the remakes of the original two games that came out a couple of years ago. But I do like the way it looks visually. It's nothing stunning at all. But compared to the modern takes of Phoenix, right, or what we played on the Game Boy Advance way back when, it definitely seems a lot more lifelike. You can definitely see some of the animations with the characters' mouths moving and whatnot, and everything from what I've seen so far has been fully voiced, except for the stuff that your main character says. And yeah, really enjoying it so far. As far as the plot, you're introduced to the detective agency, and the crime you have to solve is a murder that happened for a middle school kid who apparently is left dead with with signs of being choked, and there's a bag over his head. And apparently there's an urban legend where someone is approaching little girls, and then they're saying, oh, do you want to smile forever, or something along those lines. And then if they do smile, they end up getting murdered with the bag over their head put on later. Or if they don't smile, the killer just moves on. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing how the story moves on. This also is their very rare Nintendo published and developed game that actually is rated M, and obviously it's because of the themes of murder and stuff. But I also came across one character who literally curses, and I'm like, oh, this is actual cursing in a pure Nintendo game. So that's definitely a breath of fresh air, and I'm looking forward to moving forward with the game. I did ask for a code. I don't know if I'll get it, but I'll be ready. This is definitely probably the one game that I'm looking forward to playing as soon as we have more from it. And then the other game that I've been playing is Conquered. I started it this morning. A friend gave me a code, and I played a little bit of the beta back when it was available a few weeks ago, but it was also happening during the same time as the Marvel Rivals beta, so I didn't put too much time into it. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it so far. I forget the character's name, but the main one I've been using is the Asian one with the crossbow bombs, and really enjoying it so far. And the other character I'm enjoying, I believe his name is Teo. He's pretty much your typical modern warfare Soldier 76 character with a machine gun. And like I've played like 3 matches and I lost them all, but that was the way I leveled up to level 2. You can only get better by continuing to play. But the main thing that'll keep me playing is a squad, and I don't have one, and I don't know if this game will reach that level of popularity. And it's unfortunate because a lot of the criticisms we're seeing is like, oh, these characters are generic and blah blah blah. But this game has been apparently in development for 8 years, which is like roughly around the time Overwatch came out. So it's tough. Like it seems like Sony really missed the boat as far as timing, but like as far as the actual quality of the game, it's good. The gunplay feels good. The traversal feels good. Every character feels different, at least the ones that I've tried. And ideally it would work, but I think I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that it cost. There's an entry cost. It's I think the game is $40 or $50, something like that. And it probably would have benefited from being free to play, but at the same time, it's like you want to make your money somewhere, and I think Helldivers was around $40 too, and it's unfortunate, especially in a world where you want to see more and more original games and original IP, and this is exactly that. But because everyone is saying they look like bargain basement Guardians of the Galaxy, they're suffering in that regard. But I don't know. This is a game that I hope sees some success down the road. I just don't see that happening. It's good so far. Anyway, that's all.
All right. So yeah, let's get to some news here. We got Game Pass editions for the rest of this month here. They added one thing alongside Gamescom happening. But yeah, as I mentioned, Atlas Fallen is on Game Pass, so you can check that out. And I think also part of that Reign of Sands update is that they added a new game plus mode. So you can check out that game without having to pay for it. So there you go for that. That's all that's available now. Let's see, available on the 27th, so Tuesday, Core Keeper for PC and Xbox Series X and S. This is, I think, one of those crafting survival games. Supports co-op or competitive play, so you can get into that on Tuesday. So that's one of those that was a big streaming game. So there you go for that. Let's see, on the 30th, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has an early access open beta that I think is for people that paid for the game, but also, I guess, Game Pass as well. It seems like, let's see, you start downloading it on the 28th, start playing on the 30th. I don't know when it ends. They don't mention that here. But you can also earn in-game rewards for the full game whenever that launches. So you can get in there and play with probably a higher concentration of terrible people than you will when the game launches. But
classic.
There you go. You might finally get some good kills there.
Oh
yeah. But I was playing Modern Warfare 3, and I kept seeing this one guy that was like a half-naked guy running at me all the time, and I figured out after a bit that they'd added Cody Rhodes to the game. It was just him, shirtless, and I was like, that guy stands out amongst all the weird military people. I guess they had a mode where they could do their wrestling finishers. I was not in that mode, so that was weird.
I believe it was Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, and I think Rey Mysterio, and yeah, they all have their finishers.
Yeah. But I shot that guy all the time because it was pretty easy to point out the shirtless guy with bleach blonde hair.
Getting shot at.
But yeah. Let's see. For stuff that is out now. Oh, no, wait, I missed one. I closed that too soon. There's one more on here. It is for September 3rd, Star Trekker. That's what I'm looking forward to. It's the space trucking game. Hopefully the tutorial is a bit better in this one because I essentially crashed into some stuff and it just caused a cascade of failures that led to my truck being inoperable. So I just jettisoned myself out into space to see how that felt without a suit on. So there you go. That's your Game Pass stuff. Some interesting stuff there.
All right.
Nothing really huge though.
No, not really.
Yeah, nothing there for me, but the Call of Duty stuff sounds cool if anybody's into it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's that. Let's get to another thing that came out already. Ace Attorney Investigations Collection Demo is out now on everything, I believe. PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC.
Yep.
You can play the first chapter of both games. And I believe the save data will transfer over to the full game. So
yep. So I'm definitely getting this when it comes out. So
yeah, and that's out. Yeah,
when it comes out, I definitely plan on picking it up on PS4 just because trophies should be easy. But I think it's only physical on the Switch, so I already pre-ordered that. But I do want to play the PlayStation version.
Yeah. So yeah, that's out pretty soon on September 6th, so not too far away. For that, let's see. Now we got some dates, some more stuff that came out during and around Gamescom. Nintendo Museum announced that they are opening their doors in Kyoto, Japan on October 2nd.
Yep.
Tickets are priced at, let's see, 3,300 yen for adults, which is about $23 here in the US. So 2,200 yen for youth.
Yeah. Yeah, that is that's once again, I'm like, if I'm ever going to Japan, this is definitely one of the attractions I want to go to because Nintendo has this long storied history with just a crazy amount of different products that they've put out over the years, and this will be one of the times when you'll actually be able to I can actually see them in person.
Yeah, and if you want to get a taste of what the museum is like, they did do a direct tour that Miyamoto did throughout much of the place, and it seems like they got some cool stations set up to play some games, look at some history stuff, do a lot of little cool things that they have in there. So, yeah, that looks neat.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the direct. I only caught the end, and they were playing Super Mario Brothers with a very, very big Famicom controller, like it was the size of a table. Miyamoto was playing with one of the museum employees or one of the standees, and it definitely looked pretty fun. And that's just one thing out of many things you can do. And apparently, there's more things you can do than what you just saw in the direct. So, definitely looking to try that out if I ever get a chance. I'm wondering how hard it'll be to get tickets because you have to go on their website and you have to enter a drawing, and then after that they're going to be sold based on availability. So yeah, obviously if you want to go to Japan, it's probably best to not line it up with this, just because with any international trip you want to be able to plan it as soon as possible. But yeah, with this kind of thing it just makes it a little bit more difficult, but I don't know how hard it is. That's definitely something I'll be looking into if and when I decide to finally make my way there.
Yeah, you just show up and say, I'm an American, museums are free, I'm going in. But yeah, there you go. Then we'll start getting some more game news. Sky Ocean's Wings for Hire finally has a date, October 10th, for everything. That looks neat. Yeah, kind of one of those Ghibli-esque JRPG kind of things. That looks really cool with some sky ships and all that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that'll be out in a couple of months here.
I remember seeing flyers and stuff at various events I've gone to, and it always came off as sort of a gotcha kind of RPG. Maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that sounds like that. They mentioned turn-based dogfights in the space, the sky ships, that kind of stuff. So maybe a little bit of Skies of Arcadia in there. But yeah, I'm not seeing too much in the way of gacha stuff. But yeah, that looks neat. Let's see. Also coming out October 25th. We already knew the date. Sonic and Shadows Generations. And wait, what is this? Oh, okay. I put the wrong link on this, or kind of. It's the they have a wild $250 special edition that they announced with limited run games. That includes a bunch of wild stuff to it. Yeah, it has let's see, a big Dreamcast style statue that for Sonic and Shadow to stand on, as well as a commemorative Dreamcast jewel case for the game. There's an official soundtrack, individually numbered certificate of authenticity, Chow figurines, the case for the game, big art book, Sonic and Shadow, and classic Sonic shoes keychains, as well as a steelbook. Kind of a lot of stuff, and kind of wild to use like Dreamcast shells for a statue. But yeah, this looks kind of a cool and wild sort of special edition for this game.
Yeah, obviously the pride and joy of this thing is the big statue of the Dreamcast with Shadow and Sonic on it. It's very reminiscent of the Sonic Mania special edition that came out, but that was straight from Sega and not LRG. I actually have it. I never opened it, but it's big. It's a very big box, and I'd assume like this is the same case with this one.
Yeah. So yeah, that looks pretty cool. I definitely won't get it, but you know how that goes. Yeah, there was a Pokemon event going on. They kind of announced some stuff. Nothing really major, but they did give a date for the Pokemon trading card game for mobile. That is going to be out October 30th. So you can do your pre-registration now for that, so you can play your trading card game stuff on the phone now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
Definitely pretty cool. I mean, like Magic the Gathering has a way to play online, so it's about time. And obviously, like we've seen the Pokemon trading card game take off in various ways. You know, most recently with COVID times going on for a couple of years, and it seems to be in a little bit of a downturn now, but I'm sure it'll come back up sooner than later. Yeah, this seems like a cool way to play it without spending too much money. Though I'm pretty sure it'll also litter you with microtransactions.
Yeah. But I remember them announcing and be like, "You'll get free packs every once in a while." Like, oh, okay, sure,
wonderful.
And it'll have nothing in them, but still.
Yeah. But yeah, there's that. And speaking of Nintendo mobile games, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp will be ending service on November 29th. They have said that there will be a paid version that they will be releasing at some point, that you can transfer your save data over, that presumably won't have microtransactions on there. Yeah. There are no in-app purchase or subscription stuff.
Yeah.
But everything else will carry over. I wonder if it will not require a continuous online connection, so online features will not be available. Though I hope they allow you to not have the extended like wait times for things to happen, like the game does.
Hopefully.
Yeah. This is obviously like sad news for people who continue to engage with this game, even though it was never really a full Animal Crossing experience. It was more of an aside, and that's what the way Nintendo likes to handle their mobile. But it definitely is an interesting way of ending the service. You know, sometimes they just say, "All right, it's over. You won't be able to play anymore." So the fact that they're offering an option, even if it's a buy-in for people to be able to keep what they have and still enjoy it to some extent, is definitely a cool move on Nintendo's part. And like, I don't know if that'll just be like local to people's phones, and if it's time to update the phone, it's over. But yeah, it's definitely a nice way to sort of say goodbye to it. And yeah, if I remember correctly, this is probably Nintendo's like highest grossing mobile game aside from Mario Kart and Dragalia Lost. But yeah, like it definitely lasted a good amount of time, and I know a lot of people used it to farm the whatever My Nintendo coins people could do, and yeah, at least it had a use. And sad that it's over, but they're gonna move on to something better.
Yeah, there'll be a paid version, so people that want to
Yeah.
keep playing it can have a version of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there you go for that. And yeah, next up here, a surprise sequel to Lost in Random is happening. Lost in Random: The Eternal Die. We come to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC next year. Um, yeah, that's neat. Yeah, Thunderfold Games is publishing this as a roguelite action adventure game. So that's interesting. It'll also be on Game Pass as well, I guess. So whenever that happens next year, so you can check that out.
Yeah, this is actually my first time hearing about this, and it definitely seems interesting. I love the original game. Of course, the original game was published as an EA original, and yeah, like as far as the gameplay, it was definitely unique, and the way it handled their story was definitely pretty cool as well. And I'm not a big rogue person, so this is a bit of a turnoff, but I think it's worth a try, and I'll definitely check it out. If it's free on Game Pass, why not?
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Really.
Let's see. Yeah. But we got some delays here. Out of nowhere, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 got an update saying it's still not coming out for a while.
Yep.
They said it's been delayed to the first half of 2025 for anybody expecting it to be out this fall.
Which was a very, very, very small percentage of people, to be completely honest.
Yeah, this game's never coming out, man.
Yeah, they still claim that they are working on it. So, yeah, the Chinese Room is the developer that kind of came in a couple years ago to work on it, and they'll need time to keep working on it. So we'll see how that goes. They haven't been short on projects to work on, so hopefully they do a good job here.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have posted a big YouTube.
There's that, but they were working on a different title, to be fair. But I don't know.
Yeah. They put out a big video giving a development update, so showing off kind of what they've been working on and how much more they still have to go. So there you go for that. That's happening at some point, maybe. Next up here was probably the most disappointing of these. Level 5 continues to announce that they're not releasing anything anytime soon.
Yeah.
This is Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. That was coming to the Switch, was planned and had an actual date of October 10th, which is pretty soon. But they have said that they have delayed it to an unannounced date. They say it will be available for Switch with other platforms undecided. So maybe it'll come out on PlayStation somehow, PC. I don't know. I feel like if Nintendo's involved in any of the decision making, it'll just be PC. But yeah, disappointing. But yeah, they need to actually finish these games and not act like they've got 4 or 5 games that they're almost done with.
Please, we're begging you.
Yeah, I know this is definitely going to be disappointing for a lot of people. I didn't play the original Fantasy Life, but the ones that the people that I know that did really enjoyed it. So, and this one looks pretty good too. And yeah, being delayed to an unannounced date is that's not ideal.
Yeah. So yeah, that's disappointing, but we still got some more stuff here before we get into the opening night live announcements. The last one here, Wilmot's Warehouse got a sequel. Wilmot Works It Out that is announced for PC. I believe it might be out October 23rd. Okay, they must have just announced a date or something. Yeah, same developers, Hollow Ponds and Richard Hogg working on this. Similar concept to the original, where the original was you were managing this warehouse and organizing things to the however you wanted to, whatever system worked for you. And you were getting orders for stuff to bring up to the shipping bay and shipping that out, and trying to do all that fast as you could in a day. But this one's a little more chill and more of a puzzle game, as you are, I believe, getting a package every day with pieces of puzzles that, when completed, will make artwork that you can hang up in a house. And I believe as you complete more of them, you will unlock more rooms in the house to hang up your artwork. But how you organize this stuff and how you try and figure out what pieces go to what puzzles, because they're unlike actual jigsaw puzzles, they don't have pieces on them to signify like, oh, this must go into this kind of piece. They're all just rounded edge squares. So you're just trying to figure out like what could this possibly go with, and try and organize that stuff as you can. Demo's out now on Steam. I'm probably going to check this out here this week coming up, do a video on it. So yeah, looking forward to this. Only announced for PC and Mac so far, but I assume it'll come to consoles like the original did at some point. But yeah, that was a really good game, and looking forward to a new one of those.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, we'll get to Gamescom opening night live because they had a bunch of stuff there. I've trimmed a few things off of this that did not have really anything new to add to it. But yeah, let's start here. There's Dave the Diver. They announced some new crossover events they have coming up. There's MXM Toon, which I'm going to take a wild guess is a Korean webtoon company of note. I didn't see any description of what that was, but that's my assumption being a Korean game. They also have a Balatro crossover coming, which does not make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's yeah, you're right. That doesn't make any damn sense.
Crossing over with a weird poker roguelite game.
Yeah.
Or a fishing sushi making game.
Yeah.
And the other one is Potion Craft. At least makes a little more sense because you're making stuff in that.
Yeah.
Collecting ingredients for potions. But yeah, they say that those will happen in October, so looking forward to that. One from Godzilla to Balatro. Hell of a thing, but yeah. Then we got Sniper Elite Resistance got announced for PS5, Xbox, and PC. That'll be out next year at some point, and it will also be on Game Pass. So yeah, they mentioned that this is a new standalone story along the runs parallel to the storyline of Sniper Elite 5. Yeah, the main character discovers an insidious new Wunderwaffe that could help the Nazis win the war.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If the logo is any indication, it looks like we're mostly going to be fighting in France.
Yeah. You can do a lot more streets and city stuff. So.
Which honestly is something I've been kind of wanting from this series, because a lot of this, you like urban warfare, it's there's not a whole lot of it in the series. So, not only that, but we're actually we're not, fighting like as an independent commando or whatever. We're actually fighting with the French resistance. So, plus it's another chance to, mutilate Nazis. So that's always a good time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they mentioned that there are a new type of missions called propaganda missions. Yeah, you locate a unique propaganda poster in each of the main campaign's levels to unlock a propaganda mission where you become a resistance fighter.
Yep.
You have time-sensitive objectives, so you must sneak, snipe, and shoot, taking down enemies under certain conditions to complete the mission. So, so there you go.
Yep.
More Nazi killing.
Yeah. More Nazis to kill. Good old-fashioned family fun.
Yeah. And let's see, Begone Beast was next, a PC game that seemed very much like a co-op kind of horror action game of sorts, where you're kind of controlling these kind of cartoonish characters who are running around and running into a bunch of scary creatures, trying to kill them. Hordes of creatures and all that. So that looks neat. That's supposedly out February of 2025 next year in early access. So you can check that one out. Then we got Roadcraft. This is from Focus Entertainment. And as you can probably guess from the name, It involves crafting on the road as you are.
Yeah.
You're the leader of a company specialized in restoring sites devastated by natural disasters. Use your construction machinery to restart the local industry, clear debris, faulty equipment, rebuild roads and bridges damaged by weather, and much more. So yeah, that's kind of a neat premise there. So
yeah,
and yeah, it comes from the people that developed Mud Runner and Snow Runner. So you kind of have a lot of realistic physics and terrain that deforms as you're doing stuff. So
yeah,
that looks pretty cool. For that is just PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC sometime next year.
All right.
So there we go. And then we got Nico Derico, The Magical World. That'll be out in October. This is on PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. A sort of side-scrolling platformer that very much was like, hey, what if we make a new Donkey Kong Country?
Yeah, and it is. The character designs are furry as hell.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and you get
wow. The main guy he almost looks like Crash Bandicoot. Like,
I don't know about that.
Well,
that's like a lion.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Certainly in the vein of what you kind of expect out of this kind of platformer.
Yeah.
But also has the Donkey Kong Country thing of trying to collect the 4 letters in the stage.
Yeah.
There's the barrels that shoot you around. I believe you can also find special creatures that will help you get around in cool ways and do all that kind of fun stuff while you're waiting for a new Donkey Kong game.
It does actually look pretty fun, yeah. It does. It seems to go into like first person mode a couple times too. Well, I mean, not first person, but like from the back.
Yeah.
I definitely see Crash when you just look at the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that looks neat. Let's see. Next up, we got Cairn. They just showed a new trailer for that. That game, I like the look of it because it's kind of like some of the other kind of mountain climbing games we've gotten recently, except their animation is a bit different. So your character's legs and arms kind of just move in very weird ways, and I really like that about it. They're kind of moving a more not fluid, but more herky-jerky kind of way. If you look at footage of that, so that's coming to PC at some point. Let's see. Next up, we got We Harvest Shadows. This is coming to PC and consoles at some point. Let's see. This is an emotional first-person narrative game with farming and horror elements. So you're kind of managing a farm while spooky stuff happens, I guess.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, and yeah. So that looks neat. That's out. No date yet, so there you go for that. Then we got a game called Isla, Aila, all whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a first-person horror game published by Fire Shrine Games, coming out next year. Very much has a lot of that's kind of I would maybe say a little bit of a mix of like Resident Evil Village and maybe Alan Wake, the original Alan Wake.
Yeah, I can definitely see it in there.
So yeah, that looks interesting. Yeah, it looks like you're kind of facing a AI character, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, that looks neat. The next up, Revenge of the Shadow Planets. This is from the developers of the Journey to the Savage Planet. For PS5, Xbox, and PC. That'll be out next year. Let's see. In a future knocked off its access by corporate greed and stupidity, you have been made redundant and abandoned on the far edge of space with little gear and no safety net. So yeah, I believe it's kind of a crafting survival game of sorts with some story to it. So you can play with other people or solo or whatever. But it's one of those games that's kind of a jokey one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can check out more of that. Then we got Inzoi that has a demo out now on Steam. It's basically I forget which company it is. It might be NetEase that is trying to
Mm.
get their own version of The Sims.
Mm.
It's a more modern looking, like realistic looking kind of game, but that's been getting some attention.
Mm-hmm.
There's not been very many Sims clones out there, and this one's at least getting people excited for it. So we'll see if that turns into a real game at some point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tribe 9 is the next one here. A free-to-play extreme action RPG. So that'll be coming to PC and mobile. Very much a Toyo Games kind of thing here. So there are a few games here. It's like, oh, that looks like it's completely copying the style of what Hoyo's been doing. So there you go. Then we got like that was all the pre-show stuff.
Yeah.
So this one is the last one. There's two more here. Directive 8020, which is a Dark Pictures game from Supermassive Games, coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC next year. Published by Supermassive Games, so no more Bandai Namco involved in this, seems like.
Good.
But they have a Hollywood actor as the main character, Lashana Lynch.
Yep.
Who was in the Bob Marley movie recently and the Woman King. And I believe she was also in Captain Marvel. Yeah, she's in Captain Marvel and No Time to Die. So she's been in some stuff lately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sci-fi horror game that's seems like more of a game-ass game than what they've made lately.
Yeah, it actually looks like I don't want to use that term because I hate doing that because I think it really limits like what we can perceive video games can do. But yeah, this one does seem like it plays more like an actual game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like to be fair, the type of game we're talking about is one that I've become a big fan of. Like, I enjoy the Telltale games. Until Dawn and The Quarry were games that I really, really enjoyed. Unfortunately, I've never given any of the Dark Pictures games a try. And the weird thing about this one is that when I was looking at the press release, it was, they advertised it in a way where they were talking about Until Dawn and The Quarry first. So I don't know if it's going to be worked on by those exact same people, just because like they were marketed differently, which makes me assume that it's a different team. But at the same time, it's like they say that this is also part of the Dark Pictures, but not part of the Dark Pictures anthology. And I don't know the difference because I haven't played those games. And even if I do assume that it's from a different team within Supermassive, that team also went through layoffs. So I don't know who works for who anymore. But I do have some interest here. I mean, obviously, like, she's also a great actress. I enjoyed her as Rambo in the Marvel movie. As for like being a more gamey game, like that would be nice. But at the same time, if it goes with what they're traditionally known for, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I think they're calling out Until Dawn and The Quarry to be like this is a full retail game. This is the Dark Pictures games being, I think, generally $30 or $40. Generally like a 4 to 5 hour kind of game.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why those are pretty good because they kind of came out at enough of a pace where it's like, okay, these are cheap enough and they do not require a ton of your time. Whereas like Until Dawn and The Quarry were like 10 to 20 hour games. Built around replayability.
Yeah, I was saying like The Quarry was like 7 hours tops. Until Dawn was definitely a little longer, but I know I beat both those games in about 2 days.
Yeah, but I think those are also built to be replayed and kind of try and see as many angles as you can.
Oh, gotcha. So were the Dark Pictures games not of the same mold?
Probably a little bit, but I think they were more in a kind of episodic kind of fashion. But yeah, that's a neat new project from them. But yeah, let's see what is next. Street Fighter 6. They showed off some Terry Bogard stuff. He threw off his hat, so that's about as much as you need from him.
Yep.
And Street Fighter, let's see, that'll be out September 24th for Street Fighter 6. So there you go. Yeah, he has the classic outfit and then like a shitty fur jacket.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got your two types of Terry Bogard.
Mm-hmm.
He has like RE4 jacket. So yeah, that's out soon. And then yeah, that's into the pre-show. We get to the main show where Borderlands 4 got announced for PS5, Xbox, and PC for next year. As Jeff Keighley was bragging that this didn't get leaked. Even though I think most people are like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It wasn't like a huge surprise or anything. And yeah, they get to announce this and wipe away the entire memory that people have of the movie.
Yeah.
They'll forget that it ever existed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
To be honest, I actually did like Borderlands 3. I quite enjoyed it. I mean, you know, it still didn't measure up to what Borderlands 2 was, but then again, Borderlands 2 was kind of lightning in a barrel. I mean, lightning in a bottle. But you know, I like the Borderlands universe, and I like, you know, playing those games. So I'm excited to see another mainline edition.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that they were talking about the game not being leaked, but at the same time, it's like 2K was really bragging about a game during Summer Game Fest, which, you know, ended up being Civ 7. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it didn't leak, but people also expected it. Yeah, I was talking to Chris during the actual presentation. And, unfortunately, I haven't played any of the Borderlands games, and I own them all. Yeah, I don't know whether I want to start with one if it's still if it aged well, or whether I should start with Tales from the Borderlands, because I've heard nothing but good things about that story. But yeah, like it's definitely something I want to try out one of these.
Yeah, I would suggest if you want story, play the Telltale games.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not getting much story out of the actual games. Especially the first one, which is more just go here, do a thing.
Yeah, the first game is really the story is more of an excuse than everything, which is kind of why the reason Borderlands 2 was so acclaimed when it was because they actually did something with it.
Yeah, but yeah. So there you go. There's that. Then we got to see gameplay of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 campaign gameplay, where you got to see a glimpse of their version of Bill Clinton, which, oh boy, they did him rotten, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that he needs to be done right or whatever, but who cares? But yeah, it's that same kind of bombastic action movie kind of stuff they're doing here. So, you know, seems all right.
Yep.
But that'll be out October 25th. Yeah, and also be on Game Pass. So, but they have the open beta starting this week, as we mentioned. So there's that. Then they went to a weird trailer, just had a bunch of nonsense in it, and it made sense that it was Goat Simulator Remastered. It was just referencing a bunch of like broken video games and such. And it had a Skyrim section in there, just a dude on the cart.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, they're remastering the original Goat Simulator for the new consoles and PC. That'll be out later this year. So there you go. That's neat. It'll be a version of that game that runs well now.
Yeah, Goat Simulator is another one of my blind spots, and I want to try out sometime, but for totally different reasons, obviously.
Yeah, seems like this will include all the DLC, which itself was making fun of a bunch of games. There's like Goat Simulator Waste of Space that has the Star Wars font for its logo. Goat Simulator Payday, which was a version of Payday. Goat Simulator Goat City Bay, which is the Vice City logo. Goat Z, which I think is Daisy's logo. Let's see, Goat Simulator Buck to School. I don't know what that's going after. Bully, maybe? I don't know. There's an MMO simulator version of that, and then Goatville. I think might be just the main game, but yeah, that was a fun like nonsense thing. So that's a game you can check out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, they showed some Persona 3 Reload episode. I Just the Answer. Mainly that's there'll be a challenge battle with Joker from Persona 5 in it.
Yep.
So you can do that. And that's out soon, September 10th. Let's see. Then there's a new Dying Light thing, Dying Light the Beast, which is an expanded DLC for Dying Light 2. So if you have the Ultimate Edition for Dying Light 2, you get this for free. Otherwise, it's a good chunk of game that stars the protagonist from the first game, which I had to read about that because I did not know who the hell that was. But yeah, more of that. Fighting against zombies and all that. So there you go.
Okay.
Then we got King of Meat, a like multiplayer action game. Had I think this is the one that had Jeff Keighley in it.
Yep.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I forget which game that was, but this looks like very much like a Fall Guys like, but with a lot of more nonsense on it. This comes from Amazon Games, so there you go. We'll see whenever that gets a date for that. Then we got Linked, Banner of the Spark. This is a game that's worked on by Steven Spielberg's son, who has a development team called Fuzzybot. That is an arcade-inspired cooperative action game with roguelites and town-building elements, which is a lot of game inspiration to it, but the game itself looks pretty neat.
Yeah.
For what it is. So that looks neat. That'll be out in early access on PC October 22nd, so you can check that out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Then we got to see Arc Raiders for the first time in a while. They're having a play test on PC from October 24th to the 27th. But the game itself will be out next year at some point. Trailer didn't really explain too much about what's going on, but seemed to have some survival stuff going on. But yeah, not really too much in the way of obvious things. But then we got to see more of Infinity Nikki, which is coming to PS5, PC, and mobile. Which is another game that is very much a big mobile gacha game that is coming to PS5, PC, and mobile. Looks very cute and cozy, but also will work very hard to get a lot of money out of you. There you go for that. Then we got Predecessor that is out now on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. This is a game made out of the assets of Paragon, an Epic Game MOBA shooter thing that they shut down, but made the assets available in Unreal Engine for people to make their own version of it. This is the one that seems to have gotten out there, so you can check that out. Then we got Pact of Exile 2 coming up, saying their early access will be launching November 15th on PS5, Xbox, and PC, so you'll be able to check that out in a couple of months. Then we got to see Dune Awakening again, the third-person shooter MMO thing. That'll finally be going into early access in 2025 for PC, and then later on for console. Then we got Reanimal. This is the new game from Tarsier Studios. Makers of the Little Nightmares games. And they seem to be making a game somewhat similar to those games. But maybe less like a 2.5D game. Stylistically not all that different, so I don't know. But yeah, that's coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC. No date yet, so there you go. Then we got Genshin Impact's coming to Xbox and Game Pass on November 20th. So Xbox people finally get in on that. And give MiHoYo all their money, so congrats. We got to see more of Monster Hunter Wilds, which still looks really good. They showed some new monsters, including a spider boss that has a flower on its butt. So there you go. That's the worst creature I've seen in a while. So there you go. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they changed the hell out of that name. Because wasn't that just a Garo game?
Yeah, it was.
They're like, nobody gives a shit about that name. We're going to change it to Fatal Fury, even though it doesn't make
Mm-hmm.
sense. Because those were just Fatal Fury, not City of the Wolves or Mark of the Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're just merging them together because who cares?
Yeah.
The Saudis need their money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC April 24th next year. It's
Yep.
the first actual date for next year of this showcase.
Yeah. And trying to remember, like this is the Garo games. They take place a decade or so after like the regular games, don't they?
I don't know.
I wish freaking Pat was here. He could tell us, but
Yeah. They revealed that they got Mai in it, which is like, okay, I didn't know we were worried that wasn't happening.
yeah. Well, because she's not in the other Garu games, so
yeah. But now they're calling it Fatal Fury. It's like, okay,
yeah, she has to be in there because she's like one of their star attractions. So
yeah,
and she's still looking good for. I'm pretty sure, like at this point in the game's timeline, she's like in her 30s or something. So,
oh yeah.
Anyway.
You know, video games once you get to 30, you look like grandpas and grandmas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's happening. I mentioned there's like some RPG stuff in there.
Yep, and apparently all the first season for the DLC characters is going to be free. There's like 17 base characters. There's like a jukebox and everything. So yeah,
yeah,
you're getting a lot for your money.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Mecha Break, which is coming to Xbox and PC. But there's a closed beta test for Xbox happening now, today. You might be able to check that out. I don't know where that's at, but I'll see what's going on there.
Yep.
Then we got Monument Valley 3 got announced for mobile, specifically Netflix. Netflix is publishing it, so it'll be out on the Netflix apps December 10th, as well as they're adding the first two games here over the next couple of months. So you can check them all out if you're a Netflix subscriber. So let's see. Then we got to see more of Civ 7. They showed some gameplay stuff, and it seems like they built the expansion, the climate change expansion for the last one, into the main game. So that's a concern over the course of the campaign. But then also said they were going to be showing off more gameplay later on at Gamescom, so you can probably check that out for that. But that's coming to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC February 11th of next year.
Yep.
As there's growing a quick group of games that are coming out in that quick little space there from the 11th to the 18th. Then we got a Starfield updates. They announced they were adding rovers that you can ride around on these planets. Is out now. That Shattered Space, the expansion is out September 30th. So they're still putting stuff in there for that game, so you can check that out. I almost started up Starfield again to be like, what does this do to the encumbrance?
Yeah.
What are you going to make it too hard for the vehicles to move if you have much shit?
Yeah.
But I didn't get around to starting it, so there you go. Marvel Rivals has a date of December 6th. And I guess until now, they hadn't announced they were putting Captain America in the game. As well as the Winter Soldier. So be able to play with both of those guys now whenever it launches. So that'll be out in a few months. Then, Age of Mythology Retold is coming out to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass September 4th. Then they showed more of Towerborn, which kind of took a break from showcases for a while. It's coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass in early access on Steam September 10th. And I believe this will be a free-to-play game as well. A full release for Xbox and PC in 2025. It'll be free-to-play, I believe, so but it will also be on Game Pass. I don't know how that's all going to work, but there you go. That looks all right for a game.
Yep.
Let's see. Delta Force Hawk Ups showed off some more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to early access sometime later this year on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Consoles are happening sometime later. Batman Arkham Shadows coming out in October for Meta.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, they showed off Little Nightmares 3 for everything.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like Little Nightmares again.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Herdling. This is
Yep.
the new game from Okomotive,
Mm-hmm.
the developers of the Far games, Far Long Sails and Far Rising Tide, I think the other one was.
Yeah.
They're being published by Panic, which they weirdly described them as the publisher of.
Mm-hmm.
Crap, I'm forgetting the name. The first person narrative adventure game in the uh, with the guy that left his dying wife to go to. I forget what that game. Firewatch. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I describe right here. Panic, publishers of Firewatch.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're basically hurting these weird looking creatures. They look like maybe water buffaloes if they were part of the whatever the monster is at the beginning of Empire's Empire Strikes Back. That monster in the snow. If you like
Yeah,
merge,
those guys.
if you merge that guy with water buffaloes, that's what this kind of looks like. But you're herding them around, traversing on some vehicles occasionally, doing some
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Looks really neat, kind of very much in the vein of what they Locomotive did in their previous games. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely look forward to that. This come out the PC next year and maybe consoles as well at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Then we got Masters of Albion
Yep.
as Peter Molyneux showed up.
Again, yeah, I was like, I honestly thought he was dead.
No, he had been working on a NFT mobile game,
Yeah.
and that went nowhere.
That's why Brandon killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he announced that he's back to working on a PC game,
Yeah.
Masters of Albion, which people are like, why are you using the name of the world in Fable? And it's like, I believe Albion is the name of like.
Albion is like one of the old names for England.
Yeah.
It's Great Britain, right? I'm pretty sure it's fair use.
Yeah. It's the name that place had long before it became England. So
yeah. And so I guess he's trying to do another one of those his God games, as he calls them, and I mean he's gonna promise a lot, and I mean we know the whole rigmarole by now. He's gonna promise a lot, and he's gonna end up under delivering. But
yeah, but he does have a pretty interesting team because he mentioned that Mark Healy is on this, who was the head of Media Molecule, and left from the Fable team for that. So he has a bunch of people he's worked with in the past. Like a game that's like parts black and whites with maybe part I don't know, like an action RPG kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes, but also people have been like, this looks like the NFT game that he was working on. It's like, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Probably. I mean, if he made a bunch of material, a bunch of assets and stuff, and that game fell through, it's like, if he can recycle those assets into another project, he's gonna do it. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's what you would do if you're a small team, is like recycle stuff. Like that's not necessarily a negative.
Yeah.
I don't think this game's going to have NFT stuff in it. Because that's stupid. He wants to make money at this point. But yeah, it looks pretty solid for what it is. But we'll see what it looks like when it gets done.
Yeah, like again, it's Peter Molyneux. He usually sells you a really pretty picture of what's to come, and then, well, we'll see.
Yeah, he's trying to be very low key on this game. So
yeah, maybe he's learned his lesson. We'll see.
It's really easy to have that criticism. Like, we're also talking about a guy who pretty much made the God game genre. Obviously in the late 80s, early 90s, he was pretty much a god in the industry. And yeah, he's definitely guilty of overpromising. I don't know if he really did that on purpose from a marketing standpoint, as it's just a matter of him not really fully understanding what was
Mm-hmm.
possible under the scope. But yeah, like this isn't really my kind of game, but there were definitely some interesting aspects to it that I think I can have some fun with. But yeah, obviously, like we'll just have to wait and see. And yeah, with that being said, we're just waiting and seeing here. I'm not saying that he's gonna like promise the moon, and it looks like he hasn't done that yet. But at the same time, it's like he's still a respected member of the industry, and I'm always interested in seeing like what he has planned, and the fact that he brought back a lot of the staff that he had with him in previous projects, makes me a little less worried.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go for that. We saw Squid Game Unleashed, which seemed like they were making a Fall Guys game, but set in the Squid Game universe, with the exact opposite attitude that the show had. But yeah, that'll be a mobile game for Netflix people, so you can check that out. I don't know necessarily you could make a game of Squid Game and keep the same sort of anti-capitalist viewpoint that the show had. But yeah. Let's see. Then we got Unknown 9 Awakening for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC is coming out October 18th. And they had the actress that played Yennefer in the Witcher show as sort of the face of this trailer. I don't know if she might be voicing the main character as well, which is cool. But yeah, I think that trailer put them in front of Gamergate's viewpoint, so their people are getting harassed now, so that's great. Especially because it's featuring a woman of color in the main character role. Let's see. Arena Breakout Infinite seemed like a very nonsense game that's coming out to PC later this year. Then we got to see more of the first Berserker, Kazan. That's coming out early next year, but with a beta coming out October 11th to the 20th. That's coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC, so that looks all right. Let's see. Then we got Ara History Untold is coming out September 24th for PC and Game Pass. So they're getting out there ahead of Civilization 7 before that steamrolls any interest in that game. So there you go for there. Then we got a NetEase game, Flowtopia. That seems to be like a floating island life sim game where you can do anything that you can pay money for.
Yeah.
Because it's a free-to-play game, so they're going to charge you for anything that looks cool.
Oh, yeah.
For that game. So, yeah, that is next year worldwide on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. So there you go for that. So there you go for that. Let's see. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. We got to see some more of that, which still looks all right.
Yep.
They announced the date, December 9th, for PC, Xbox, and Game Pass, and then they followed it up by saying PS5 will be out spring 2025. Announcing the thing that they kind of said wouldn't happen when they were talking about releasing stuff on PlayStation and Switch. Because they mentioned Starfield and Indiana Jones were not games that were doing that, but I guess they meant right now, as of this moment. But yeah, they seem to suggest at that point that it was like going to be like 12 months or more for this game. They seem to be like, what if we do like 4 months? Because we want to sell more of this game. Because the license is expensive.
Yeah.
Disney's charging us $100 million for this thing. And we got to make that money back or Mickey will break our legs. So there you go. Let's see. And then they closed it with Mafia: The Old Country coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC, which seems to be them making The Godfather Part 2. A lot of stuff in the Old Country.
Yep.
So yeah, that's not really too much shown, but yeah, it'll be set in 1900s Sicily. They'd be even driving even slower cars than in the original Mafia. So yeah, that looks neat. That'll be out somewhere else. I think they said they will be showing more in December, which I assume means it will be at the Game Awards, as they announced after the show that the Game Awards will be happening on December 12th. So we'll be checking that stuff out. So yeah, Danner, what here did you enjoy and I'm looking forward to?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because like I just felt like it ran a little long, and that being said, like there wasn't really too much I really had my eye on. If anything, the one that really got my attention was Infinity Nikki. Um, like I know that it's like known throughout like the mobile world as like just this gotcha experience, but like when it was first unveiled as just this fashion platformer, I love the cozy vibes, and it actually is promoted as a cozy game. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And obviously, the Indiana Jones looks pretty cool. It's an interesting move for them to be going to PS5, but yeah, like that's a total separate conversation. And what else was there? I wasn't really surprised by being able to fight Joker on a special mode in Persona 3 Reload, but at the same time, I'm really looking forward to episode Aegis, which is going to be due out soon. But yeah, like I'm really just like using this as sort of a precursor to the Game Awards, which this has pretty much always been. And yeah, that being said, like even though there wasn't a whole lot for me, I did like the overall flow of the event. It does seem like this Gamescom is just a little bit more important than what we've seen in the past, and I'm happy to see it continue.
All right, so how about you, Brandon?
There's a couple different ones that I'm looking forward to. I'm definitely looking forward to like the Bloomin' Rage Lost Record. That one is definitely one because it's a don't nod first person. A first. It's pretty much the like first real title they put out in a while. Outside of Life is Strange, and I love the whole idea of like being a '90s throwback, and I love those kinds of games that they put out. They're just a lot of fun. Because I like the atmosphere those games make. Let's see what else. I got to go over this list because they put out a lot of announcements this time around. Let me see here. Despite the jokes I made, Nico Derico actually does look like a lot of fun, and I would like to play it. Sniper Elite Resistance is definitely one I'm going to be looking into. Borderlands 4, like I said, is definitely one I'm looking forward to because I liked Borderlands 3 quite a bit, even though a lot of people seem to not like it. Let's see what else. Path of Exile 2, definitely, because I've played that on my PC a bunch of times, and it's even more fun than Diablo is. And Fatal Fury, City of Wolves will probably get around to that one because I do love Fatal Fury. And yeah, that's about it. Maybe Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but that one's gonna be on the back burner. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and for me, I definitely like to see Herdling from a developer I like a lot, so that looks pretty neat. And yeah, like there's not a ton here that I was like super excited about. Lost Records looks neat. Oh, I think we skipped that one. Yeah, that's the Don't Nod game. They are releasing it in 2 parts, which I think is the first time in a while they've done that with the game. February 18th and March 18th, so that's only a month away. So month difference, so that's at least not too bad of a difference there. And yeah, like Nico Derico looks pretty neat as a nice throwback kind of game. And maybe Roadcraft for next year. So that maybe Sniper Elite as well, but those are just 2025, so who knows when those could come out. Be any time in that 12 months, so I don't really put too much stock in playing those anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did quickly want to shout out Kazan, which was we talked about it as Ben Starr being like the main character there. That one looked pretty cool. It didn't look quite Souls-like. It looked more actiony, which is definitely more my speed. And it wasn't a part of this presentation, but I've seen a trailer for this game called Redacted, which is going to be from Striking Distance Studios, the same folks who did the Callisto Protocol. and this game actually takes place within the same world. It's actually within a section in the game, and it's actually a third person, almost like roguelite, like Hades kind of game, which looks pretty cool. Like, obviously, like Striking Distance Studios struggled with the sales of Callisto Protocol out the gate, but I do like that they're continuing to chug it with like smaller, but at the same time, like action-packed games such as this.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was Opening Night Live was a pretty good show. A lot of interesting stuff that's like, I'll check it out when it comes out, but a lot of this stuff is for next year or, doesn't even have a date. So not a ton that I have to be super worried about checking out, but there's still more interesting announcements at Gamescom proper that was got some stuff I'm looking forward to. But yeah, that's a pretty good show. So unless you either of you have anything to add.
Nope.
That was pretty much it. Like this is probably going to be like the big thing until the Game Awards. I know we're probably going to get a Nintendo Direct or a State of Play sometime soon, but I don't think it'll talk about anything like in the immediate future that we don't already know about. So yeah, we're at that point of the year where we're going to have a pretty packed fall. Like, people are talking about how there's sort of a dearth on like, new games coming out and stuff, which, especially for us isn't all that true, especially when you're looking at like all the JRPGs that have already come out, stuff that are going to come out soon. But yeah, September, October especially is going to be pretty packed as we move forward. And pretty much, shed some light on a lot of stuff coming out next year, and that's what the Game Awards is going to do as well. So yeah, we're just getting ready for what's coming.
Yeah, I do know that Sony is going to be hosting a panel at TGS for Death Stranding 2 on the beach. They've been talking about that, so that looks like a big deal there. Yeah, Sony's not really at Gamescom, nor is Nintendo, but I believe they're maybe going to have some stuff there. Gamescom or TGS looks like Sony's going to have Astrobot and Monster Hunter Wild specifically at their booth for those games. So yeah, those are looking to be big releases for this fall and early next year. I assume Monster Hunter is based on the way they're marketing everything. But yeah, that's going to be a fun fall because we got a bunch of stuff coming out and things to look forward to. So yeah, that'll do it for the show this week. Thank you to Brandon and Danner for joining.
Always.
We'll be back next week with a new slate of news and a new month. We'll be at the 1st of September next week as the end of the shitty part of summer, and now we just get the shitty part of the start of fall, where it's still basically summer, but we're supposed to act like we're not in summer anymore. But you'll have all your pumpkin spice stuff out there to check out now before
it's already there.
Before you really need it. Especially if you're not going to put pumpkin pie out there.
Yeah.
Because having what was it, like, I think it was pumpkin spice. I think it was just bread mix.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, absolutely makes more sense than all the coffee shit. The people go nuts over that stuff, but yeah, thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoy the show, let friends and family know they can check it out, and select strangers who are also tired of pumpkin spice being a time limited thing. Just put it out the rest of the year. It's not even fucking pumpkin.
Yeah, it's not even September yet, for God's sakes.
All this is just fucking nutmeg and a couple other spices.
Yeah, seriously.
It's not special.
Yeah.
In fairness, I do think the pumpkin spice cold brew cream is pretty good. But yeah, there are definitely better places than Starbucks or Pete's where you can get that stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a good week ahead. We'll see you all next time. Have a good one.